AI reminds me of YouTube, where you start with one thing that fit a search you entered to find out something you needed to know. And pretty soon you're hours in because you kept following up on different things and watching different videos, inevitably landing on a cat, dog, or monkey video. Yeah. I started my AI journey in a small way, using AI to help with content generation ideas, mostly for ideas and for specific technical details about something I was writing about for a blockchain development company in 2022. Then, more and more, I got into asking detailed questions about content that I wanted to create, just looking for an assist, right? And who wouldn't, right? Here's this brand new, seemingly brilliant resource. So it makes sense. Got to explore. Now, especially for B2B tech and SaaS startups who need to scale, there's usually a pretty lean marketing team and a pretty heavy content lift. And for entrepreneurs and people in professional services, there's also a lean to zero marketing team, call it a marketer, a VA, and still a heavy content lift. So in that case, it mostly just doesn't get done at all. So what's the problem? Content, right? Got to be visible, got to be consistent, got to keep generating it forever. And because it's not easy, it just hasn't gotten done. So enter AI, the large language models like ChatGPT, Claude, and others. And as I've said in my previous video, there are literally thousands of tools that generate content in a variety and myriad of flavors. And I've explored some of them, maybe a dozen or so. And they all generate lots of different forms of content. But is that helpful? Or do we waste more time attempting to use them? So follow me here. What do you need? A blog, an email, a listicle, which is slang for checklist, a video script, headlines, subject line, social media post, ad copy. These tools will do it. Generate, copy, paste into a document you're working on, save it, edit it, get it ready, look for more content that you can generate on another idea that the blog will explore, and keep going, right? Sometimes I think I could have just written the darn thing faster than all of that effort to work to get AI to generate and piece together the content I need to get out the door. Heck, some people will generate an entire blog article, copy, paste, and publish, done. Yay! That's a whole different subject, and you'll see why very soon. So let's continue. And rarely is it just one thing. If I'm writing a blog, what else do I need? An email or a series of them, letting my subscribers and my, people know, my leads know about the new post, particularly if it's something that would pertain to them, don't you think? A call to action, which if I'm lazy will be a book a call or contact us to discuss. But if I'm into engagement and making a difference, then it's likely a download of some sort that will help move the lead in the direction they want to go and showcase one tiny little bit of the difference that we bring to the table. Now, in the process of that, I also need great headlines and subject lines too. And by now I'm half a day in and still working it all out, right? And once I have the content, I've got to implement it all as the blog post that's published and emails with recipients selected and scheduled and designed, and the download produced as something that will look great when it's downloaded. And the lead capture form, if I'm going to capture leads in the process of getting that download available. And if I do a video, well, I need a thumbnail if it's going up on YouTube to say nothing about the editing that might be required on that video. And if I'm posting a LinkedIn article, I will need a header image because otherwise you end up, or a feature image, because otherwise you end up with a generic LinkedIn graphic that's pretty horrible. Because while AI on LinkedIn can rewrite a comment or help you craft things, it doesn't suggest that you add an image. So you avoid their horribly generic image when they also have you create the post that brings people to your article. So just go look at the first episode of this newsletter and you'll see what I'm talking about. Lesson learned. So if you eschew the tools that are there and have opted to use ChatGPT Plus instead, because why not, right? Now you've put yourself into the role of prompt jockey. And we're here on LinkedIn, so I know you see all of the folks that have the next awesome ChatGPT prompts that you can download, request, or in some cases purchase and use to generate even better content, responses, and comments, etc. Just download it and you're off to the races, or down the rabbit hole with Alice into the world of AI. Oh, and not to leave out this little detail, you're contributing to the education of AI's large language model, or ChatGPT's large language model, or LLM, which means whatever you do provide via ChatGPT ends up educating that LLM, so it can be used and referenced by other people entering their prompts to generate ideas and content, and you get to pay for that privilege. Fun stuff. There goes your original thinking, right? So why has the content mandate that we're under lost sight of why use content at all? For example, the difference that content can make to the visibility of your business, your brand, and your difference. In the rush to generate content, we've forgotten that why. And as long as we pull something out of our you-know-where and get it out the door, we can check content off our list for the week. It's become a to-do, not the difference maker that content can be. So for most of us, content hasn't made that difference in our businesses. We've lost the forest for the trees. It's a to-do item. Check it off the list. Feel like you've accomplished something. In the tools I've looked at, there's one glaring thing missing that you must figure out on your own before you start using any of these tools. And that is understanding who you're talking to. And let me tell you, based on the work I've done with literally hundreds of people now, this one thing also doesn't get done well. I can ask you 3 questions. Who do you sell to? What do you sell them? And what's the biggest difference that they get from using that product or service? And if I ask you this and you needed the answer right now, you'd give me little sentences that may or may not be what you really need to be looking at, right? And I'm not talking about going through a whole persona exercise to get it all sorted out, because mostly once those are done, nobody knows what to do with them and they sit up on the shelf collecting dust. But hey, you can check that off your list too, because you've got one. So you've got to understand not only who you're talking to, but what they're dealing with that would be perfect fodder for your content and your expertise. So it's not content for content's sake that you need. It's content that will engage, which means you need to know who you're talking to and what it is they're dealing with that you can impact. And I'm going to assume that you have some expertise or access to that expertise that has a unique point of view on what the path of relief and forward movement might be for your target audience. You want to activate that intelligence. So how are you using AI? Because one big mistake is to check your intelligence and expertise at the door. For example, taking what AI generates and just doing the copy, paste, publish without bringing any of your expertise to the equation. Don't do that, please. Now, tell me in the comments the results that you've gotten from what you've used AI to generate. Just what have you gotten? Tell me your metrics. What have you done? What if you could gain the understanding about your ideal customer in minutes? And what if those insights activated your own thinking, knowledge, and expertise? Would that be helpful? Incorporate the why into your content efforts and start connecting and resonating with your ideal customers in ways that builds relationship and preference. Does it sound cool? Because it is cool. Why? Because it works. So what if the entire process only took 2 to 3 hours per week in all? No more going down the rabbit hole, that's for darn sure, and harnessing AI in a way that elevates your brand and connects with your ideal customer. Sound fun? How might that impact the quality of the leads you generate for your sales group and the conversations that would be possible, not to mention the new customers you'll acquire and the growth you'll experience? Now, Generating and publishing content really truly does matter. It lands and engages and makes a difference with your ideal customer. And that is the purpose. Reach out and let me know if you'd like a taste of what I'm talking about for your content efforts, or register to attend one of our upcoming webinars where we work with someone in the audience and build it on the spot for them. You'll see it in action. Let me know questions you have. Just post them below. I'll see you next week with another episode sharing new things I've discovered that have made a difference in my marketing results and in working with APIs with these large language models as well. So stay tuned. There's a lot more coming.